Let's talk about the blokes weekend, because I want to talk about your weekend for that, because you did double duty on that day. So talk me through your weekend.
Yeah, so well, it started off obviously. What time did I leave? I must have been about something silly o'clock, like 4 o'clock in the morning. So I left from Tenby in Wales and drove to Petersfield, which is about 4 hour 45 trip to St. Petersfield Rugby Club, and I did a coaching camp for 3 hours for Rugby Against Cancer. So it's Rugby Against Cancer against the Fiji and or Pacific Islanders like rugby team. So they have all ex sort of like internationals playing. Obviously with so I played on the Rugby Against Cancer team. And they had some ex-players for them. They had Dylan Armitage, myself, and then obviously, this core group, which kind of meet up all the time. There's like lads from like Bournemouth who I knew of and played in the leagues and stuff. So we all met up and then obviously got ready for the game. Great atmosphere, raised loads of money for an amazing charity. And you know what? That was my first outing for Rugby Against Cancer, and it was, it certainly won't be my last. I'll tell you that now. But we had a great time. The game was fast. It was frenetic. The physicality on some of those, we talk about the Islanders anyway, but like the physicality in that game was unreal. I mean, as soon as one big hit went in, it was like 3 followed in afterwards. And I was trying to tell our forwards, look, at the moment we're kind of stepping back into them. And like we're lining ourselves up. I was like, if you're going to step, I was like step and stay square, because you're going to ride the hit a little bit more. There must have been about 3 massive hits, and they were like, I wouldn't say they were like close to red card type, but they were like up here. Your proper sort of like
They were rugby league hits. Yeah.
Oh my word, it was ridiculous, and I was like, I'm glad I'm out here and not in there at the minute, because I was like stood out on the wing. Yeah. So we had a great time. Obviously, we took the win, which was great. And then I managed to stay for a fairly short, swift beer afterwards. Met up with a couple of mental health charity type people that obviously know our good friend Tom, and had some really good connections with Tom. And I was telling that obviously I've come up to represent the blokes with the football. So I've watched a little bit of the Lions game, jumped in the car, radio's on, another 4.5 hour trip to Manchester, where I got to see your lovely face lying down on a bed.
Oh mate, I can't. I was so nervous about that day, because I was like, for context for people that are listening, the first time I met Matt Jess, I don't remember meeting Matt Jess. I've had the pleasure of speaking to him on the phone at least 3 or 4 times, and he's the most. His happiness is the most infectious thing you'll ever have. He literally could I tell this story when I was telling this story to Tom Lindsay on that night. Actually, it was when you were asking me stuff about your Instagram page for your coaching.
Yeah.
And you were so inspiring in that, and it was like 10:30 at night when I finished, and I was like, I put the phone down and talked to you, and I was like, I feel like I need to go and run a 5K, because I've got so much like energy in me, and I was like, I'm going to go do it. I'm just going to go run a 5K.
There we go.
But yeah. So on the Saturday, the first time I met Matt Jess, I'm still convinced I didn't meet him, but apparently I have. So
no, you didn't meet me. So I met your pants. I met your boxer shorts, black that night.
I will tell you the story about it, because my mates still laughed at this. So what happened was, we got out. We ended up in this really, really old man locals pub in the heart of Manchester. Like, when you open the doors, and if you're not a recognised face, everybody stares at you the whole way to the bar and back. How
uncomfortable do you feel?
I was fine, because I knew nobody anyway. So I was like, there's just 20 more people in a room that I don't know, which is fine, because I was.
And you're Scottish, so everyone's going to be a bit like, don't mess with him. Because if I hear Scottish accent, I'm like, I can't mess with him.
Well, yeah, you might say that, but then you turn around and see that I'm 5'8", and you think I probably fancy my chances with him, so he's fine.
I'll back myself.
So while you were driving up from your second home for the night after your massive rugby match, me, Tom Lindsay, Tom Holmes' fiance, and Tom Lindsay's wife all went out for beers to watch the Lions game. So while you were in the car, we were all watching it, drinking beers and drinking gins. Because obviously I was like, we've got a game tomorrow, so pints are volume. So if I drink the gins, it'll be all right, because it's less volume.
Absolutely.
Which didn't. It was good in practice, good in theory, awful in practice. So we were there. We ended up getting disgusting, because Tom Lindsay knew he wasn't coming out the next night, and he knew he was playing in goals. So Tom Lindsay was like, we can have a few beers, we can have a few gins. But then what Tom Lindsay did, because he's an evil, conniving bastard, was he stopped drinking. And he didn't tell anybody else to stop drinking. Because I didn't clock it till we were in Fight Club, and I was like, "Why have you got a pint of gin and tonic?" He's like, "It's soda and lime." I was like, "What?" So he'd stopped drinking.
Yeah.
So he stopped drinking, and me and Tom Home hadn't stopped drinking. So we were then absolutely reckless in Fight Club. And apparently, so I was on the mentality of, because Tom Lindsay and Tom Home had met each other. Like, so they'd had their introductions, and I'd never met anybody, because obviously I'm up here and you guys are all sort of down south, Midlands, and then further down.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know anybody I'm meeting in the next 24 hours. So I was like, you can either try firm it and not be your awkward self, or you can have a few pints and let the conversation flow. I'll let the pints flow and have a conversation.
Absolutely. Why not?
So then I was, yeah. So credit to Tom Home, his fiance, Tom Lindsay, because they're all lovely. They're some of the nicest people I've ever had a pint with. But I was so legless and I couldn't see by the time I got to Fight Club. Apparently I was walking around Fight Club, and then you know the classic, you've got something on your shirt and doing that. Apparently there was this like 7-foot bouncer. Apparently I just did it to him, and I just looked at him, and Tom Lindsay was like, "Oh Jesus Christ!"
Oh no, we got to get out of here. What's plan B?
Well, that's what it was. And then Tom Lindsay took everybody home, because, as we said, he stopped drinking because he's a sneaky git and just wanted to fit all the boys out. So then he did that, and then we got Tom home back to the hotel, and he was just as bad as everybody else. Because everybody remembers from that night, everybody sees the photo of me because I chose the hallway to be a more comfortable option in my bed.
A nice hard flat floor, excellent.
Yeah, well, that's it. But what you didn't realise was, while that photo was taken, Tom Home was currently covering himself in barbecue sauce because he was rolling about in it because he hadn't realised he'd fallen in it.
And we didn't get to see that. Not even on
exactly. So nobody got to see that. Didn't make the paparazzi pictures.
So on my drive back, I mean, you boys had obviously said, can't wait to meet you for a beer and first round's on me and all that sort of stuff. Absolutely brilliant.
I still would have done that. I wouldn't remember buying it, but
no, absolutely not. And then I was thinking to myself, well, that's great. I'm going to get a couple of beers bought for me tonight, and mix it in with the lads. Got to Manchester, couldn't find the car park for the Ibis. I think it was the Ibis when we were stopping at. Couldn't find the car park. Anyway, I phoned Tom home. He then phoned me back. I could hear your voice in the background going, "God, can't wait to meet you, Jessy," and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, excellent, can't wait for this. And I put the phone down going, they are absolutely steaming. I was like, this is going to be amazing. Got into the car park, got into the hotel, started to check in. Tom home is fairly sort of just about standing up, stumbling around. Jessy, great to see you, and all that sort of stuff. Tom Lindsay's obviously stopped drinking, so he's fairly sober. Obviously, I didn't realise this. Jumped in the lift, got to my room, chucked in the bags. Right, I'm going down for a pint. So I went down, bought a pint, and then it was like, "Oh, come to room," whatever room number was. Anyway, the next minute, I'm like, "Where's Sam?" And they were like, "Oh, you can come and meet Sam." So I met Sam in his pants. So basically, I met Sam on the bed. This kind of wasn't even, you weren't looking at me. You knew I was stood in the doorway for some unbeknown reason. I don't know how you're doing it with your, but apparently you do that with food as well. Because the story goes that you have.
Tom Home with sausage roll, yeah.
That's it. And apparently Tom Lindsay was like, I can't believe Sam just knows by the little rustle. Because apparently you were just laid flat on the bed. You heard a rustle in your bag and you were like, I think the words were, "If somebody's eating my food, I'm going to kill you." That's amazing.
That was me preparing for Hungover Sam, because I was on the train and I had like the 4-hour train journey, and I was like, I'm not going to eat all this food now, but I know that I'm going to need food if we go for a night out to eat.
Yeah.
And I was just preparing myself for that, and then I just, because I didn't know nobody had eaten it till the next day. But then, like you said, you and Tom Lindsay were like, "Do you remember telling Tom off for eating your sausage roll?" I was like, that's where that went. I had no idea it was where it had been.
And then do you remember the sausage roll gate when because I said, "Oh, did you have sausage roll last night?" You're like, "Yeah," and then I was like, "Oh," because when I went down to go and get that pint, I think it was a pint, and I brought it back up, and there was a sausage roll in the lift, and I was like, "What the hell is a half-eaten sausage roll doing in the lift?" And I think it was sausage roll gate. Whoever did it, I don't know, but it's sausage roll gate.
I think it's Tom Home.
But yeah, I quite enjoyed standing in the doorway, kind of saying hello to you, and then to be fair, Tom's like, "I'm going to call him Mum from now on," because he literally, he whipped your jeans off within not even a second. I'd like to say as quick as a Formula One strip a car's tires off in a F1 race.
He has no idea how appreciative I am for that, because I got such a good night's sleep because he did that. But it was the only memory I had of me leaving that bar was a roughly hazy memory of Tom Lindsay taking my pants off, and I was like, so I messaged because I put the message in the group chat. I was like, guys, if I had a relationship with Tom Lindsay last night, that's fine, but I'm really upset that he's not staying for a cuddle because he's not in the bed anymore.
There you go. One of those.
Oh no, I thought it'd be sleepover. I thought it'd be sleepover club, just like Boys on Tour, but apparently it wasn't.
Oh my word! But it was brilliant. It was obviously because I think it was the next morning, wasn't it? I was like, "Oh, you're right," and I was like, "Yeah, I met you last night. Did you? Yeah. Okay. This is all good.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I think it's brilliant.
Mate,
You're steaming. Brilliant.
Can I just
say though, that's something that had to be done. Like when you go to Manchester and you're doing you're representing blokes and you're meeting, the guys that essentially you've been speaking to for well over a year, isn't it? Via social media. You've not really met them face to face and stuff, but you get a grasp of like what the what the sort of personalities are like, and you've just got to go and enjoy those moments, especially when things start lifting and whatever. Just go out and enjoy them. I think it's brilliant. I think it's great.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I said, because I remember like when my missus was there, and obviously we're texting away in the group chat, like we're in the BlOKes FC chat, and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was like, "Put it this way, it's going to be really awkward if somebody doesn't just put just no rules. You need somebody to just be that person that just goes nothing is off limits, say whatever you want, and just breaks the barriers down." So I was like, I'm not afraid to make an arse of myself to make everybody feel more comfortable.
There you
so
go,
I was like, right,
yeah.
I will be the person who makes an arse of myself.
Yeah, make yourself vulnerable, exactly. And then everybody else just goes, "Oh, I'm okay here," that kind of thing.
Exactly. Well, put it this way, it ended up with Josh Breen and Chapo in the Manchester United Rainbow Bars until 2 a.m. on the Sunday. So
is that on the Sunday? And you were there because obviously I think I saw a couple of your messages on the group and stuff, and I think because obviously they didn't drink the night before, did they, or did they not?
No, they all arrived Sunday morning.
Yeah, that's it. So obviously that Sunday was their big night, but obviously you were day two. You were like, I'm in the swing of this now. Mate,
I took days off work for that. That was a week off for me.
Yeah, brilliant, man. Good work.
Exactly.
Well done.
8 hours of public transport. You definitely believe I was having a pint. In fairness, I was well behaved this Sunday. I stopped drinking because I knew I had a train, and I was like, "There's going to be nothing worse than a 5-hour packed train."
Yeah, that would be horrific, wouldn't it? Just the heat and pure gin and tonic sweating out of your brow.
Mate, trust me. Talking about that, the Sunday, I have never felt so guilty in my life as arriving to that game on the Sunday and seeing that many people.
Yeah,
because I didn't think we sold that, because I was talking to Tom and he was like, "Oh, we're struggling for tickets," but apparently we sold so many on the day, and like 2 days prior we got tons. And I was saying to Tom, I was like, I feel so guilty sitting in this changing room, because I'm so rough, and all these people have paid to watch a football game. And I'm sat there going like.
And to be fair, like I must say, we put in an all right performance, didn't we? Like we did all right. I personally feel we did all right, because like what did we get up? Were we 3-2 up at one stage, or 4-3?
At one point we were winning 3-2. At one point we were winning 3-2.
That's it, 3-2. Yeah. And I blame it, and I still to this day I blame it on that stoppage. We stopped just for people out there who 3-2 up, thinking right, and we haven't had the momentum with us. Yeah. And the referee called, fair enough though, because maybe some of us were struggling. Sam Matthews. We've called a drinks break, haven't we? So we've called the drinks break. We had a bit of a chat, like what's our next sort of thing, and it's one of those where everyone talks a good game, but when you go back out there, you don't apply anything to what you said. Within 15 seconds or 20 seconds, they scored. Yeah, and we were like, "Oh, great chat, lads. This is brilliant."
Right, lads, just ignore the last 20 seconds and we'll just do exactly what we were doing before, because that was clearly working.
Yeah. So what we just said, let's do the opposite. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, excellent. Exactly. Yeah, we just did that. But I feel like I don't think we sold ourselves short. I think as a group we certainly put a bit of a stint in, put an effort in, and just let everybody know that the other team, Connor's team, had some pretty decent rugby players. Some of them look like rugby players.
I was going to
say, had some pretty decent football players there. So
I was convinced it was a proper football team at one point, because the way they were all talking to each other, I was like, surely you guys have done this before.
Well, some of their movements, I was like, this is ridiculous. And do you know what? Like, I can't believe. Like, okay, yeah, I gave us a little bit of a stretch off and whatever, but apart from that, all we're doing is pot shots at Tom Lindsay.
Yeah,
That's
Tom Lindsay. Yeah. My warm up was getting the balls out the swamp because literally nobody was going to get them, and I was like, well, I know for a fact that we're responsible for these, so if we lose them, we're the ones that get in trouble. So I was like, I will get the ball.
Yeah.
But I was laughing with Tom Lindsay in the car. I was like, because I was saying it, I was like, between me, you, Tom, a few of the other boys that I knew were carrying injuries, I was like, there's going to be so much static stretching in this warm up that you've ever seen. Just tons of boys just nursing hammies and calves for like 20 minutes. The first thing Tom Lindsay did when he got out there was start stretching up his lower back. I was like, that's what you want to see.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you probably need to do in diving around like an absolute. Well, can I just say that man's like a cat?
I know.
He's definitely one of my. He kind of, says, puts his hand up and goes, oh yeah, well, whatever. I'm like, no, mate, you're definitely MOM for me. One of the MOM.
Oh yeah.
And can I say, Tom Holmes penalty, like straight and true, straight down, because I know how I looked at him to see how nervous he was. So second half, if people don't know, there was a push. Referee's given the penalty. There was only one man that was taking that, and that was Tom Holmes.
Exactly.
And he's just gone up there, and you could probably see a little bit of nervousness in his face. And he's just gone up there, and whacked it, literally straight and true, down the middle of the netting. It was unbelievable. Like, well played.
I thought it was when we got the first one in the first half, and I was looking at Tom Holmes because obviously I was playing in defence, which is never a good sign when you concede the goals. But it's like, yeah. So when we got the penalty in the first half, I was looking at Tom Holmes. I was like, is it unacceptable to sub somebody on to take the penalty and then sub them back off?
Depends what situation it is,
Exactly.
Are we going into a final or what? Or, no, exactly. But we managed to get another one in for him. So
exactly.
Really.
Oh yeah. A quick note on Tom Lindsay as well. Yeah, because the game's been recorded apparently. I still don't know when it's coming out. But obviously we had. Well, do you remember those two commentator boys sat in the dump? That's another great stuff. The level we were playing. So when I arrived, because me and Tom Lindsay were the first, or I think you arrived just a bit before us.
Yeah.
And then so me and Tom Lindsay arrived, and these two boys came up to me because obviously Tom Holmes wasn't there. So everybody said like, "Oh, Sam's sort of got a hand in it," and I was like, "I have no idea what's going on today, but I'll happily take any responsibility for the boys." So
Vice Captain Sam Matthews.
No, I think Vice Captain was Josh Breen. We gave Josh Breen the honours of captain.
Did you? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't want the pressure. I'm gonna keep my head down and silent workhorse character. So I arrived, and these two boys came up to me holding Jaeger bombs at 20-12, and they were both in like shirt and tie, and I was like, "Oh, you lads are dressed up for this. It's nice to meet the kids." He's like, "We're the commentators." I was like, "Well, this is gonna be great." And they're like, "Yeah, we're just trying to take the nerves off." I was like, "Yeah, you do that with a bottle of beer, not 3 Jaeger bombs."
Really? Yeah. Can you? Why are you slurring my name, Sam Matthews?
Yeah. I was waiting to look over in the second half to see one of them just asleep on the other one, just like nodding against him. But yeah, so when that comes out, that's going to be getting plastered all over this because there was some proper hilarious moments in that game and then we can explain it as well because, like you said, half their team, like there must have been a special deal on like triceps and pecs at that place because
it was.
I know we had a ragtag kit situation, but those kits looked extremely tight.
Very tight, and obviously they had Danny Andrews playing for them, didn't they? I mean, he was like, he's built anyway, and then they had the forward. Is it? I want to say Penga.
Pengers or something, isn't it? Yeah.
Pengers or something like that. I think it's Pengers Tattoos. I think it is a little bit of a promotion there for you, mate.
He's got like 90,000 followers. He doesn't need my promotion.
It's ridiculous.
I need his promotion.
Well, we can get some of his. But he was up front and he was stocky as anything, and he was like quick. He was rapid off the mark. He got out of breath quite a bit, but he was rapid off the mark. And then who was I marking? Coots.
Yeah, we had Jordan was in between us, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he turned around. Do you know what? He turned around to me at one stage and he said, "Do you know what? I don't know how you do this." And I said, "What's that?" He went, "Well, you do this and you wrestle people at the same time, get back up, and you still do." Mm-hmm. I said, "Yeah." I said, "That's not a bad point. And I understand his way of thinking, but also I said to him, I don't understand how you do this." And he said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, okay, might not be as physical as rugby. There is obviously some physical side to the football." I was like, "But you run at this 90 minutes."
It's like 90-minute shuttles is what it is. Yeah,
exactly. And I said, "Look at the ball and play time." I said, "We've got lineouts and scrums." I said, "Scrum resets can take a minute and a half. Well, that's the rest for us backs." I was like, "For you guys, it goes out for a throw in. Within 5 seconds, it's back in." I was like, "The ball and play time is so much more." I was like, "You guys are mental." I was like, "I need to be like 45K running around here, whatever, like not 85K or 90K sort of running around doing that." So like, it's quite nice to have a quick chat with him. But obviously I marked him the whole time. and we had a good sort of like tit for tat actually a couple of times, and we didn't manage to foul each other, which is quite nice. No, everyone come off fairly unscathed.
Oh, I was waiting for a red card in the charity game. I thought I was going to be a good one to tell.
Yeah.
It was a nice friendly event. 6 red cards and 5 yellows.
6 red cards. Yeah. What did you get sent off on the first 5 minutes?
Yeah. I don't know. Just didn't fancy it, mate. Just fancy it. I
was
a bit tired.
Yeah, flying headbutt. Sorry.
Yeah. I didn't know the rules, mate. I just stuck a shoulder in somebody. Just natural instinct took over.
Yeah, exactly.
I was saying that to I think it was Chamber. I was like, my biggest fear walking out in this pitch is that I have to keep reminding myself I'm playing football. Because you'll know yourself, you naturally get into that thing. Like the team walk out, you're like, right, big hits. No, don't make big hits. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, chop tackles. No, tackle with your feet, not with your arms.
Yeah, well, it's like, especially when you because I'm in the forward, so all I'm used to doing is just head down and smash into people for 90 minutes, and then if somebody lets you touch the ball, that's a bonus. That's how I play. Absolutely. So somebody was like, oh.
You'd be smashing breakdowns for like 90 minutes.
Sam,
what are you doing? You're playing football.
Yeah, that's it. I'm there for turnovers and rucks. That's all I'm there to do. Like my old man used to coach my team, and he's like, you're famous in the circle of like the region for being able to play rugby without touching the ball. You have no care for the ball. The only time you want to touch the ball is then hear the ref blow the penalty for not releasing. That's the only time I want to touch the ball.
Yeah, you are what we call the workhorse.
Exactly. Never make it on any highlight. I said it to Tom Holmes' fiance. I was like, if you can get a photo of me touching the ball to actually prove that I played, that'd be grand. Because there will be no photo evidence of it.
She's like that.
Yeah, just following me.
Yeah.
Oh, but no. So I think we raised something like, I think it was £2,500 for tickets on the day.
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? Like, I think Tom and Connor had said it at the end. In terms of what they'd raised or whatever, and I think there's a few more coming through because I think it was there a silent auction I think there as well. So
yeah,
when people were leaving,
Jack's charity or something, it was for their kids.
Yeah, that's right. So oh mate, it was just brilliant. And the fact is like when you do something like that, and it was great to hear everyone talking afterwards. Like, can't wait to do it again, and we'll do it down sort of like I suppose south or whatever, but more towards sort of like Bristol way. And I think Tom Lindsay said something about was obviously using his Bristol connections, which would be quite good. But I think just something like that, and you get a taste for it of like what the day was like, and whatever, and obviously the reasons why you do it, and you just go, well, we need to do more of it. And the thing is, like you said, then I didn't realise how big the crowd would have been, and then they come along, they enjoy the day, obviously, through this lockdown period. But how good was it for them to come out? Obviously, just watch. Okay, to the purist, it wasn't the best of football games, but it was. There
was still 17 goals though, so that's what everybody wants to see. Like 17 goals in a game of football.
Exactly, and that's what people come to see. People just enjoying themselves and smiles on faces, isn't it? So I think to do that and then get the chat of a rematch, for example, is going to be outstanding. So looking forward to the next the next game.
I just need to get fit for it though. That's my request to you. Help me get fit for the next one.
Mate, I'm going to brush up my ideas on the old football fitness, and we'll be just going for it. We'll be just we'll put like a time slot like 2 months prior to the game, and maybe we'll do like some some virtual keepy uppies. Get some ball, touch on the balls and stuff. That'd be great.
I know, because our last team at training was Zoom call. Just having a bit of banter.
Yeah, exactly. For the beer. Excellent. Yeah. Sounds great.
Everybody was just drinking. We're like, this isn't going well. I'm pretty sure it was a week before the game as well.
Yeah. This is what we're going to do the night before and the night after the game. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, let's stick to just drinking beers.
What about the game? We'll worry about that when we get there. We'll just worry about it when we get there.
Absolutely.